Hello, friends. Good afternoon. I'm sure you all are able to see me live. Yes. So today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is personal interviews. This live session is very important to help you all to understand personal interviews. And today we'll discuss what is personal interviews, what are the major rounds of personal interviews. Along with that, we'll also discuss the types of interviews, which is the most important part of this session. This session is not going to be very long. I'll try to wrap up this session within 20 minutes. Afterwards, you can put your queries and I would try to answer those queries here. I would also like to tell you that next session would be on the PI questions. What major questions are asked in the interviews and how to answer those questions, how you can structure those answers. So let's begin with the most important thing. Since majority of the students are in fourth semester, whom am I interacting right now? Some of you are in sixth semester. Soon you are going to enter into your final year, where you have to face companies, you have to be the part of campus recruitment drives. Some of you also need to take part in off-campus recruitment drives. For all that, you need to be ready. You need to make sure you have all enough preparation to appear for the same. Let's begin with a term. Before I start all that, I would like to announce one term, that is AICTE. I'm sure you must have heard this term since you all are the students of technical education. AICTE. Can someone tell me what is the full form of AICTE? Okay, I'm sure you must have guessed it. All India Council of Technical Education. All India Council of Technical Education. Of course, this is the right full form of this term. But today we're talking about the interview context. Then what is the full form of the same in interview context? In interview, the full form is little varied. The full form is A stands for attitude, I stands for impression, C stands for communication, and TE stands for technical evaluation. If I show you this graph, if you can see this well, attitude stands for A for attitude, that is for 40%, I for impression for 10%, C for communication 25%, and TE for technical evaluation 25%. So how does recruiter evaluate you? They take your evaluation on the basis of this AICTE. They give 10% marks on the basis of impression. How do you look? How do you appear? The way you have used attire, your hairstyle, your beard, your mustaches, overall impression of your looks give you 10% marks. Then 25% marks are given on the basis of communication skills. How good communicator are you? How good you are able to express your views? How good you are able to convey your opinions to the interviewer. 25% marks of technical evaluation. How beautifully you can justify your technical skills there. So your attitude is wonderful. If your fitment for the company is very good, eager to learn, if you're not eager to join the company, if company people don't find you fit for the company, they will not hire you. So remember, this AICTE is very important. If you remember this criteria, we can easily go ahead with this criteria. Now, after this AICTE, I would like to ask all of you, like, are you aware of how many rounds are there of interview? How does interview process begins? So let me help you. Interview process begins with the recruitment, the requirement of the company. As soon as they finalize they have the requirement, the company tell the HR people that you need to hire certain peoples. Afterwards, they set first thing that is called eligibility criteria. This is the first filter. अगर एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया सेटअप नहीं किया जाएगा तो कॉलेज क्या करेगा, सारे बच्चों को ड्राइव में बिठा देगा, and it will be very difficult for HRs to take so much of interviews. So the first set eligibility criteria, that is generally depends on whether the number of requirements are high or low. If the requirements are high, it means the number of vacancies are more. The company set lower eligibility criteria. For example, 50% or maybe 60% percentage throughout, maybe 60% or 70% attendance throughout. And apart from this, vacancies are very low. If they have very limited vacancies, the eligibility criteria is quite higher. So we need to prepare ourselves in such a way that we can be eligible for any company. Now here the process begins of interview. The first round. Can someone comment here what is the first round of interview? Right. So the first interview round is aptitude round. Every company want to check your basic intelligence level, whether basic intelligence you have or not. For that, they check your app. What is the mean of which companies? Infosys, T for Tech Mahindra. So there is some live stream problems. You might get some interruption in between. Let me continue. So once the round is done, majority people. If you talk about the general consequences, one interview take at least 15 to 20 minutes. So if they take four interviews in an hour, so they can take hardly 30 interviews in 7 to 8 hours. In this way, identifying, screening 150 group discussion. Sometimes it may be in the form of extempore, but generally it is group discussion. In group discussion, they set up the teams of 10 each, somewhere it can be the team of 15 each, and they set up the people in different rooms. And they generally provide 10 to 15 minutes for group discussion. However, a few companies like Microsoft, they might give a little higher time also for group discussion. So after this round, which takes around 1 hour, the interviewers are able to find out the best 30 to 40 candidates out of 150 candidates. So now the process is easier for the interviewers. So now they take the next round, which is technical round. In technical round, here your technical skills are judged. So remember, if your aptitude is not good, you are not going to qualify the first round. It means your technical may be very good, but you will not be able to qualify the interview because you will be out in the aptitude round itself. If you clear aptitude round, then a group discussion skills should be very good. If your GD is very good, then you can get through GD round. Now you get opportunity to showcase your technical skills in technical round. Here you can showcase your skills, your technical skills, and you can tell the recruiter what do you know about the different languages, or maybe about whatsoever technical skills are of yours. So after technical round, generally there is one more round that is called HR round. Some companies mix this round as well with technical plus HR. But generally, technical round, then HR round. In HR round, they discuss behavioral questions. Question related to your aptitude, your fitment with the company. These may be related to team working skills, leadership skills, stress management, time management, action planning. These may be related to all these things. Now, one more thing I just wanted to tell you that there is one more round which is called MR. Have you heard the MR round? MR means managerial round. This round is not conducted by all the companies, but few companies take this round as well. For example, Microsoft, TCS, they generally take MR round as well. Microsoft take MR round very intensive, that is for 40 to 45 minutes for each candidate. However, TCS take less intensive. Generally, MR round is conducted before HR round. It means technical, then MR, then HR round. Here, the questions are asked related to your managing abilities. Hypothetical questions are given in this round. You need to answer according, keeping yourself in that situation. So these are the basic rounds. After all this, if HR find that like there is some contradiction in some one or two candidate, they may conduct one more round, which is not conducted by all the companies. This can be conducted by some of the companies, which is psychometric round. Psychometric round is another round, which is psychological round. Here, this can be conducted in different forms, like in form of visuals. HR may show you some pictures, some random pictures, and they might ask you to select any one picture. And if you select any one picture, they interpret your attitude and aptitude on the basis of that picture. Second one, it may be in the form of puzzles. They may ask you some basic questions, kind of puzzles. I asked one puzzle in the class. I'm sure you must remember that. कि अगर एक तालाब में जो कि सूखा हुआ है, एक शिप खड़ा हुआ है जिस शिप की हाइट 10 मीटर है, अगर तालाब में हर घंटे 1 मीटर पानी आता है तो कितने घंटे में वो शिप डूबेगा? तालाब है सूखा हुआ, 10 मीटर का शिप है, तालाब में हर घंटे 1 मीटर पानी आता है तो 10 मीटर का शिप डूबने में कितना समय लगेगा? मे बी सम ऑफ यू कैन आंसर 10 hours. इज शिप विल नॉट संक, शिप डूबेगा ही नहीं, जैसे से पानी आता जाएगा शिप ऊपर होते जाएगा. So now these are the kind of questions which are to check again the basic intelligence level of the candidate. So these are the psychometric tests. So here, so far I have explained you about AICTE. I have also made you all aware about the rounds of PI. Now it's time for the next part, which is types of interviews. One is structured interviews. When I say structure, it means the interviews which are structured to identify specific skills, abilities, qualifications, and experience. These are called structured interviews. Afterwards, these are generally taken one on one. Next one is group interviews. Another one is group interviews. So, can someone suggest what is the meaning of group interviews? You can comment here. I would like to read your comments in that. Meanwhile, I explain interviews are maybe 2, 3, 4, or maybe 10. These are generally conducted when time is less. When interviewer find that the time is less and candidates are more, they conduct group interviews. Connection is unstable. Now, afterwards, another type is panel interview. This is often conducted in campus drives. In panel interviews, generally panelists are more and interview is one. Why do these such kind of interviews are being conducted? There is a reason. In majority of the organizations, HR team and floor manager teams do not have good relations because HR team pick the best candidate from the campus, but since they are new one, they're not having good experience, they are not able to perform very done. They feel HR have not select best candidates, and HRs accuse floor manager. These are cream of crops. So now what happened? HR also take these managers along with them during recruitment drives so that they can also check what kind of candidates are there and which candidate is suitable for their team. So panel interviews are nowadays in full swing in trends. Next one is behavioral interviews, especially on managerial positions and maybe in some other positions as well. Behavioral interviews are taken. In behavioral interviews, try to check the behavior of candidate in some particular situations. How a candidate act in a particular hypothetical situation. So these are given to the candidate and they are asked to answer the question in that situation. Next one is mealtime interviews. That is also called dining interviews. Dining or mealtime interviews. Lunch dinner interviews भी कहते हैं कई जगह इसको. Generally, these are conducted on senior level when people are invited over lunch or dinner in some hotel or restaurant. And meanwhile, on lunch and dinner, they take the interview. But it can be conducted on entry level as well. But these are not conducted in campus drives. These are conducted in off campus drives. कभी कभी ऐसे इंटरव्यूज होते हैं जो कंडक्ट हो जाते हैं और आपको पता भी नहीं चलता कि आपका मिल टाइम इंटरव्यू हो गया. आई गिव एन रियल एग्जांपल व्हिच आई हैव सीन. कैंडिडेट्स इंटरव्यू देने के लिए गए हुए थे. एचआर वाज टेकिंग कंटिन्यूअस इंटरव्यू. मीनवाइल लंच टाइम हो गया. एचआर केम आउट and he asked the remaining candidates, have you had your lunch? Obviously they said no sir. HR goes, let's come along with me, let's go to mess, we'll have lunch. So candidates start being with the HR. Now their interview begins. HR is talking to them very casually, they're having chit chat with them, they're having meal together. But actually, HR is interviewing those candidates. And the people who are not able to show the right etiquettes, they were out immediately after the interview of that mealtime interview. So this can be done in such criteria, in such situation as well. So be aware of it. Another one is telephonic interview. Just two more remaining here. The first one is telephonic interview. This can also be known as video conferencing interviews. Now its trend has been changed. Instead of telephonic, many companies organize video conferencing interviews. Can someone tell me what is the advantage of telephonic interview for recruiter? You can comment meanwhile till I am telling you the advantage of telephonic interview for employee, interviewee. Number one, candidate does not have to visit the company. It saves time and money. Correct. Candidate feel less pressure because he's not in the other place. He's at his own place. Candidate can use a little of the material. Maybe he can put the resume before him and he can see his resume while giving telephonic interview. But what is the relevance for interviewer? Why interviewer should conduct telephonic interview? Yes, so Vinay Verma has said save time. Of course, is absolutely right. Number one is save time. Interviewer can also save their time. If they call a lot of people, they have to waste a lot of time because they have to give time to every candidate. But if interviews are on phone, if the 1 minute they find the candidate is not very good, they say okay, goodbye to you. And they can save their time. Sakshi has also said the same thing, it saves time of recruiters. Asna Vaja said candidate will be more confident, of course. That is advantage for candidate instead of recruiter. So Asna Vaja, your point is correct for the candidate perspective. Sakshi has said it helps to check communication skills. Very true. On profiles where communication skills are very important, recruiters are able to check communication skills over telephone or maybe video conferencing. So again, they save their time. Sajal Son has said that he doesn't need to set up the whole interview structure in the telephonic interview and also able to save his time. Absolutely correct. If they call the interview people, they have to set up the whole structure. But interview do not have to do it because they're just taking the interview on telephone. So of course, very good answers you people have given. Bhumika has also said it helped to good our check out our communication skills. Of course, Aman Raj has also said save time. Amanpreet has said save resources. All are the absolutely correct answers. So telephonic interviews are also very important, but nowadays it has been replaced by video conferencing interviews. So you must be well aware of different video conferencing modes. It may be Hangout, it may be Skype. It well aware of this platform, and you should have idea on this platform so that you can use this platform for your interviews. And you should mention these ID in your resume as well. Ritika Gaur has said, what are the benefits of lunch and dinner time interviews? I'll just explain, Ritika. It also tells candidate will deal with the customers of the company. Yes, Sakshi has given a very relevant point. It also tell people, it also tell recruiters the candidates can deal with the clients over the phone in what manner. They can give it just over that. Okay. So now moving toward the last one, that is stress interview. Afterwards, I will reply the Ritika's comment. Stress interview. Stress interviews are again the kind of interviews which are not conducted in full swing. Remember, these are not the interviews which are conducted very often. These are very less conducted. In this kind of interviews, candidates are put under certain fabricated pressure to see the natural game. अगर एक व्यक्ति प्रेशर में नहीं है तो वो जो भी सोच के आया है मन में बना के आया है वो बोल पाएगा लेकिन अगर वो प्रेशर में आ जाएगा तो जो वो रट के आया है वो भूल जाएगा और उसका रियल गेम सामने आ जाएगा so that's why such kind of interviews are conducted in these kind of interviews sometime like कैसे स्ट्रेस बनाया जाता है. Suppose a candidate is given a question and candidate is given right answer. Then to all HR may say it's wrong answer. Don't you know how to answer? You'll just come up just like that. So candidate may be put into the pressure, or they may be asked some irrelevant questions. Maybe candidate is of Java and he may be asked about the nuclear physics. Then he may not be able to answer. Then they can put that person into pressure. Such kind of interviews are stress interviews. Here, just need to remember, stay cool and calm. If such kind of things are being created around you, get relaxed. Soon they will get off. So now let me answer Ritika's comment. The question was, what is the benefit of lunchtime and dinner time interview? Especially in sales and marketing kind of interviews, in marketing kind of profiles, you often had to meet with your clients on lunch and dinner. Then you must have the right etiquettes to have lunch and dinner. That's why these kind of interviews are conducted. Along with that, many senior profiles in any field, often you have to take lunch and dinner with your seniors, maybe who are your main clients. So in that case, you must be aware of the basic etiquettes of lunch and dinner. That's why such kind of interviews are conducted. So this was the basic gist of our the session today. I have taken 25 minutes for that. So now quickly I'll reply all the comments, whatsoever questions are there. Mm, Srishti Devrani has said, if there is only one or two candidates in the town, so they need to go there for taking interview. Yes, of course. Either they have to visit the company or company may arrange their Skype interview. That can be done. Aditi Bansal has said, sir, the candidate should be more confident and answer the specified answer that interviewer wants to listen. Exactly. That is very, very important. The candidate should be very much specific. Vague answers are never taken. You cannot say, I have done so many projects. You should be specific what projects you have done. You cannot say, sir, I have many qualities. You should be able to tell what qualities do you possess specifically. Okay. Maybe you are good with communication skills. Maybe you are very good with presentation skills. Maybe you are very reliable. You are very confident. So you should be able to explain those things very well. Now, Akshay Chauhan has said this type of interview test the ability to think on your feet to check how he respond in difficult situation. Exactly. I'm sure he's talking about the stress interview. Exactly. Such kind of interviews are generally taken with this reason so that interviewees can be more natural. They should not give the fabricated answers. They should be real with their answers. Sajal Son said, sir, how can we identify if we are getting into stress interview? Yes. How can we identify we are getting trapped into stress interview? If we feel that our answers are right, and even then interviewers are trying to prove us wrong, it's alert point. Remember, you are in the stress interview. Or if the questions are asked which are not in your field of your trade, remember it's going to be the stress interview. Muskan, okay, fine. Rest have said good morning, so good noon. All right. So if there are any more question, we can take 30 more seconds. If there are any more question, you can put in the comment box. I would be happy to reply. And afterwards, we'll end up the session. So 30 seconds I've given you. If there is any more question, you can put there. Meanwhile, I am summarizing what I have taught you today. I have taught you AICTE, attitude, impression, communication skills, and technical evaluation. These are the major checkout criteria for every recruiter. I have also shared the different rounds. Begin with aptitude round, GD, technical, MR, and HR round. I'm sure you all are aware of this full form of the MR HR. MR is managerial round, and HR is human resource round. And afterwards, we've discussed different types of interviews. These were one-on-one structured interviews, group interviews, panel job interviews, behavioral interviews, mealtime interviews, telephonic or Skype interviews, and last one was stress interviews. So I've not got any more questions. So I believe that you all have done the right things. Majority people have commented their name so that I can mark their attendance. The remaining people can also comment their name whomsoever attending session, I would mark their attendance too. Okay, this is all about the session.